Squad. Welcome to today's episode of the Squad Podcast. How are we doing? Y'all,
Hi.
excited. Listen, I cannot wait to introduce you to our wonderful, beautiful light of the world. Yes, absolutely. Miss Alex, y'all, we're going to get to her in just a second. So how are we doing, Squad? Let's do our check-in. Are we reaching our goals? Have we done the things that we've said? If so, we give ourselves a big old hug over here. And if not, it's okay. We clap it up, we clap it down. It's a clean slate, a new day. Start again as many times as you need to, okay? Y'all, it's been a week. What's going on? Listen, your girl is going on vacation. I'm going to Jamaica and I'm so excited. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for this beautiful young lady to share her story with you. Y'all, Alex is an amazing, beautiful lady. We've met before. Forgot about that. We met again at an event a couple of weeks ago. And I'm like, she gives me her number. I'm like, wait, your number's already in my phone. I'm like, I don't know where we exchanged them, but we had met. And we had the opportunity to chit chat for a little bit. And I was like, she was like, I would love to have you on the podcast. And she was like, and so I'm so excited. Alex is an influencer, a fashionista like none other. All the things on the Amazon. She's your girl. Yeah. She is a marketing director for a company here locally. Yep. She's just a beautiful light that has an amazing story that I know is going to resonate with the squad. Somebody from the squad needs it. And so I'm excited to have you here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. I'm like all the things right now because, like I said, this is my first time ever doing a podcast. And, speaking about my story, I've talked a little bit here and there on, social media, but obviously taking a deeper dive. So I'm about to get vulnerable with you guys. So I'm like, here we go.
Tissue on deck. Okay, y'all
got
know
all
how
the
we
things.
do. All the things, because y'all know how it is. But Alex, thank you. One, I know how hard it is. Like sometimes the things that we go through and opening ourselves up to the most vulnerable, most intimate parts of ourselves. So I appreciate your courage and your yes. And so today, squad, we are going to be talking about what it looks like to rebuild after divorce, which is part of Alex's story. We are Alex's story. We always know that, we come in a moment and in a page in someone's big, beautiful book. And so this is just part of her story that she's willing to open up and share with you all. And so I'm so thankful, so honored, and you guys are going to be so blessed by what she says today. I know it already. I can feel it. And I know we're going to cry, which is why we have the tissue. Okay. So here we go. So Alex, where do you want to start?
So first of all, I am a huge believer in marriage and covenant. And I actually turned 34 yesterday.
Happy birthday, my girl. I meant to leave with that. Y'all say happy birthday, Alex. Don't be rude. Happy birthday, girl.
No, thank you. I feel like I've learned so much throughout the years, obviously, in general, but there's been so much growth for me in the last, I would definitely say 3 to 5 years. And, like I said, marriage is it's so beautiful. It's a covenant. And I know a lot of people, when they go through separation or divorce, they have bitterness. And I think we all go through our ups and downs with, I wouldn't be where I am today. I truly believe people come in, and I always say this, but people come into our life for either a season or a reason. And then you have our lifers. And I am super thankful, even, for my ex-husband. I'm not going to give names or anything like that.
Mind your business.
Yeah, no. But even though things didn't end the way that I thought they were going to end, our story is very beautiful. Absolutely no regrets. Because, a lot of people think too, like with separation and divorce and, you hate each other. And I'm like, that could not be like furthest from the truth. Like we both at the end of the day, we want what's best for one another. But I also think too, when you get married, nobody thinks, oh, I'm going to get married and then get divorced. Like for me, marriage was just like a one-time thing. And so I was absolutely crushed to know like that wasn't the case. And then, when you go through all said and done, it took me like 16 months from the time, we got separated until, the actual divorce. So you go through these waves of emotions of wondering like, how am I going to get through this? So I actually met my ex-husband when I was 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was 20. And we got engaged when I was 23 and then married at 25. One thing too that I think a lot of us women do, we put ourselves on this timeline, and with society saying, we need to be married by this age or have kids by this age. And that was me. I put myself on the timeline and I was like, I want to be married by 20. Well, that just so happened, waiting for that. That just so happened that I got married at 25. And then I was like, I want to have my first kid by 30. And you guys, I don't have any kids. I turned 34 yesterday. And one thing that it taught me was like, why, first of all, God has a plan.
Period.
And it's always in his timing. And, when you think, oh, when you get older, you're going to have trouble getting pregnant and all these things go through your head as a woman. And all that led me to was unnecessary anxiety and stress and knowing that like I'm not controlling any of this. He's controlling it all.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me so many years to finally like accept that and accept like who I am and the woman that I've become. And there's been a lot of different seasons of her, but I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the trials and the hardships that I've gone through. And I think that speaks for everybody that even, we may ask like, why are we going through this? Why this or why that? But one thing that I am so certain in is I may not understand it right in this very moment, but as the days, months, years have gone on, he's made it make sense for me.
Did y'all hear the girl? Did you hear the nuggets? Listen. Let's unpack that for a second.
Okay.
Like realizing and understand that society has a timeline and God has one too.
Yes.
Understanding that your story doesn't have to look like everyone else's.
No.
Everyone's story is beautiful in their own right.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you said it took me a little bit, but I realized like his timeline is perfect. Even though we have our own, y'all, we make goals. I do
We
it.
do.
Nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
But I always say, leave room for the Holy Spirit to interrupt it.
Amen.
Have your plans, have the things. He knows the plans that he has for us, but it's so important to remind ourselves that, yes, they say, oh, it's that you're going to be high risk. And he holds that in the palm of his hand too. When I had my daughters back to back a year and a half apart, they were like, we don't like for people to do that. I'm like, I didn't know I was going to. Okay, God had another plan. And so I'm like, I get it. And so I love that you said like, might not make sense in that season.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, you go, now I see. Now
And to just continue to trust his timing. I think too, I know when I was going through the separation, surrounding yourself with people who are going to uplift you and inspire you. And one thing too is as you get older, like your circle gets smaller. I think when we're younger, we're like friends, right? We all want everyone around us. But for me, it's those 1, 2, or 3 close friends, family. Family is huge for me. I would not have been able to get through the tough times without my family. And you, like I said, you want to continue to surround yourself and find those people who are going to love you, whether you're on this high or whether in your deepest lows. And I think too, you start to realize like, again, the people in your life, season, reasons, and you have your lifers. And, we all, it's a roller coaster, you never know, what's going to transpire through it all. And I want to encourage everyone, even men who could be going through a divorce or a separation or just the unknown to continue to pray. And it's not always easy and giving it to God. Like I didn't really understand and I'm still trying to like process what all that means. But it's like, sometimes I'm like, okay, when you realize you can't control what's happening, you can't control what other people are doing. You can only control how you react and how you move. And what does that look like? And I got a lot closer so I grew up Catholic, going to Sunday school and, church every Sunday, all that kind of stuff. And I think I got a lot closer in my faith when I was going through the toughest of times. And I hate to say, oh, only go to God when you're going through tough times. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was the thing too, where it's like we should be talking to him even when it's the best of times, not just the worst of times. And I think that was something that I recognized too in myself.
Yeah. So I think in the low times we realize how much we really do need him. You know, I say all the time, like the lows are necessary to remind me, like, Tasha, you can't do it in your own strength.
Yeah.
You'll never be able to,
Yeah.
but I'm always right here with you.
Yeah.
You know, is what I'm reminded of when the difficult times come, because they are going to come. They happen to us all. No one's exempt.
Yeah.
You know, but reminding myself that yes, in the great times, I'm like, all right, Lord, and in the low times, I'm like, okay, now you got me. You know, and so I think it's just remembering that he's always with us no matter the seasons,
Yeah.
because they're going to change.
And I think something too, like that you don't necessarily realize when you're going through a divorce is you're mourning someone who's still alive.
Mm.
And, you know, you're also mourning this life you thought you were going to have. Because, like I said, for me, like marriage was a one time thing. So I was like, oh my God, this is my person. Like, this is the person who's going to be the father of my kids. And, you know, you plan this life.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know it's kind of dramatic, but then in a sense, it's like ripped out from under you. And it's like you're having to rebuild again. And you're like, well, where do I even start? You know? And one thing that I think is, I didn't realize it until obviously going through it, but giving myself more credit because so I never lived on my own. It, you know, was obviously went to college, you know, and had roommates and then met my ex-husband when I was really young and we got married and then, you know, we moved in and after getting married and then, you know, with the separation and stuff like that, I was back with my parents for a little bit. And then last year I built a house.
Yes, you did.
It's just wild to me because I just never thought, well, first of all, when I was looking for a house, I was like, I just want to move in and bring my toothbrush. Like, that's it, you know? And then God was like, no, we're about to do something else. We're about to mix things up a little bit. And so, yeah, I built a house. I never thought I was like, can I do this? Like, can I do this? Like, what is happening? And one thing it taught me is that, again, I'm capable of doing so many bigger things. You know, I think sometimes we put ourselves on this, like on the bottom shelf kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And don't dim your light.
That's it.
Don't dim your light.
One,
Yes.
you're capable of more than you think. Two, don't dim your light. Three, I like to say, we put ourselves in a box. Like, we serve an unboxable God, though, y'all. You know, we are limited in our thought process of what we think of what we can fathom or comprehend that he can do.
Yeah.
Then he can do so much more. We just have to be open to the more.
Absolutely.
That's what I had to realize. He's stretching me in ways that I never thought I would be. This woman never thought I would be her. And just allowing him to show me there's more. And when I get to the next thing, he's like, and there's more. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of cool right here. This feels good. But I love that even in seasons of hardship, you can learn that there's still.
Absolutely. And one thing I always say is nothing good comes from your comfort zone.
Listen, hope you right now.
Nothing good comes from your comfort zone. I say that. And it's so true because again, when you're talking about like putting yourself in this box, but again, we're capable of doing so much more. And it's like, we're on this planet, this life for a reason. He put us here. Like if we're waking up another day, like there's a reason why we're here. There's purpose there, you know? And sometimes you just have to take things one day at a time. Like I am a planner, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's just like you need to take a step back because we can plan for the next month or 2 or 3 months, but we don't even know what's happening tomorrow. And it's like having to make the best of what's right in front of you. And I know sometimes too, especially with society and social media, and we get into this comparison and we're not enough, or we're always like trying to keep up with the Joneses of things. And it's like, no, God put you here for a reason. You have a beautiful soul. So what talents is he giving you to be able to go out into the world and just goodness, that's what I think too. Like in a world so full of like hate and uncertainty, it's just how can we love one another to the best of our ability or just being kind? It's the simple things, opening up a door, giving somebody a hug. I mean, complimenting somebody's outfit.
Love what you said. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves to just be in the moment. I told my friend going through, and she was like, I don't know. I was like, here's the thing. We can think of tomorrow if we choose to, or we can take it second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. And she was like, girl, sometimes you got to take it 1 second at a time. You can't even do a minute. Like 1 second at a time. If you need to cry, cry.
Yep.
If it's 20, 30 seconds, cry a minute. Whatever you need to do to get yourself past the moment.
That doesn't make you weak.
100%. You're supposed to. Here's the thing. And realize that so many of us don't. We just move forward.
Well, and this is something too that don't run from it. I even had to, like I said, surrounding myself with good people that are going to uplift me. Church, and it's okay to go to therapy. A lot of people look at therapy in such a negative way, but this is also somewhat, well, first of all, make sure you find like a Christian-based therapist, but someone like from that who doesn't know either one of you kind of a thing, because I think too, like we may talk to our friends or our family, but they know us. And you want to, again, surround yourself with people who are not going to, that are going to speak life over you, but are not going to speak negative either. Because sometimes they're like, oh, well, he was this or he was that. Like, no, because there was a lot of beautiful things too that has, whether it's for me or somebody else, and come full circle. Don't run from it. I think a lot of people, and I say this because I did it, and then I needed to take a step back, is you can run from your feelings if you're not mourning certain things, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. So sometimes you have to, because I know we want to go, let's go on vacation, or let's go hang out with friends. Let's go to dinner. Let's do this. Let's do that. And I did that. But then I was like, okay, but you need to get to the root of all of that too. And I think that's what I think some people can miss.
Yes.
And one thing that I'm very proud of myself, and I think it's very beautiful, is that I am in a place now that I am just so at peace with me and who I am, and that being alone, especially like in my little sanctuary, I call it, that I'm not searching for the next thing. Like I can literally just sit on my couch or sit on my back patio or whatever and just like look around and be at peace. And like, Alex, like you did this, like you were capable of doing this. And again, it did not happen overnight. And I think one thing, especially being on social media, you get highlight reels. And I know when like people sit down with me, like you get more, you understand more versus, get bits and pieces, on social media. But just the beauty of growth and who I was when I was 20 versus who I am now at 34 is a night and day difference, but in the best way possible. And I am very excited to meet whoever like my future husband is. And I know one day that God willing, he's going to bless me with a child. Like, I don't know, like, when you just feel it in your soul.
Yes, ma'am.
You feel in your soul. I have no idea his timing. No idea his timing, but I know whenever he does bless me with that, he knows that I'm 100% prepared for it. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, especially for people who do get married really young. I'm just speaking for myself that the wife that I was in my early 20s versus now, again, a night and day difference. I think too, the growth, I thought I viewed marriage a certain way, but now that as I've gotten older, I don't know. Clearly he's doing work. Like I said, marriage is just it's a covenant. It's a beautiful thing. And I think sometimes, people may view marriage as a contract versus between.
So what do you think was the shift from younger Alex to older Alex in the perspective, like on marriage? Because I know you said covenant, but you said,
Yeah.
like how you viewed it then versus how you view it now. Or the right.
So funny you said that. The first word that came to my mind is selfishness. But I didn't realize that, I think, because when you get married, it's not about you. I think every day too, you want to wake up saying, okay, husband and a wife, like, what can I do to serve you better?
I hope y'all taking notes.
But I think that's what it was, is like when I was in my 20s, it was just like still going about my daily life and not having that mindset of like, no, what can I do to wake up every day to serve my husband better, to make his life better, to make his day better, especially if he's going to work and, providing and all this kind of stuff. But like, you want to make your home like a sanctuary, like I said too, and a place where he can lay his head down at night or come home and just relax and it not be this chaotic place, which I think when things were not so good, when we were heading towards the separation and stuff like that, it was chaotic. It wasn't a place of peace. And, and I think too, as you get older, you are more wise. You look at, like I said, you look at things a little differently. And I would definitely say like selfishness, that I think in my 20s, it was definitely more selfishness. And then now it's wanting to serve.
Do y'all hear that? But hear clearly, because I know somebody like, oh, just the way. It is reciprocated. It goes both ways, him and her.
Correct.
And that's the thing about marriage. I was just telling someone yesterday, as a matter of fact, it's a partnership.
Yes.
That you develop together.
Correct.
And so people are like, oh, you tell your husband, yes, because that's my partner. And if I lack, then he's going to have to stand in the gap. And vice versa. If he lacks, I'm going to have to stand in the gap. So yes, you need to share information. To do your mind, your business, personal accounts, different accounts. Do whatever you feel you need to do in your household.
Yep.
But it's also a communication thing to say, hey, this is what I've got going on. What do you have to go on? Every single day, my heart is to serve anybody that I can, especially my family. It comes first with them.
Yep.
What does it look like for me to serve my husband today? Hey, what do you have going on today? Do you have home inspections? What's your work schedule look like? He's got meetings just like I'm on the podcast. He's about to come home and hop on a meeting.
Yeah.
And so can you pick the starter up? That it's a partnership. And I think people go in it. I know I did coming into our relationship. We got married when we were 22 and 19, I think, really, really young. And now we're in our 40s.
But it's beautiful that you guys were able to grow
But
together.
it was a lot of work, y'all. Don't get me wrong. And so what you said, and it becomes ugly and beautiful and ugly again and beautiful. Then I tell my husband, I think now we're in the reframe of our marriage. And people are like, well, I love the reframe because it's a different perspective. In the beginning, we were just trying to be a good mom and, good husband, provide for our kids.
Yeah.
And so we were husband and wife, but we didn't get to know each other in that way. It was just surviving.
With your kids.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, they got in trouble and all the things. And then we were separated. So then it was like, okay, just survive. And then the businesses and all the things. And then we had the two, Kirsten and Cassie. So we're back in parent mode, full swing again. And so the ebb and flow was just like, just be good parents, just be good providers, all the things. And now we get to reframe it and get to know each other all over again, because who Tasha was in her 20s is definitely not who Tasha is at 47. I'm a completely different young woman.
And
it is. And he is too. So the other day, we have questions that he'll ask a question one day, I'll ask one the next. And he said, what's your favorite color? And I was like, red. He was like, what? It's not purple? And I'm like, not anymore. And he was like, when did it change? And I'm like, and then I asked him a question and he said something. I was like, what? When? When did that happen? You don't life be life and you miss oh, wait, I didn't even realize she didn't like purple anymore.
You guys are growing and evolving. And again, that's a beautiful thing, because I think with marriage, it's either you're growing together because you're not the same person when you guys first met until now, or you're growing apart. And I believe too, marriage isn't 50-50.
Right.
And I think at one point I believed that. And then I'm like, as time goes on, I'm like, no, it's not, because, it could be 80-20. And I love how you said communication, because there could be some days you come home and you're like, listen, honey, I've got 20%. You make up that 80%.
Listen, And you'll learn each other. Like, my husband knows on the days when I'm off, it's just like, okay, he'll be like, I'm gonna pick up something for dinner. And in my brain, I'm like, I don't want to cook tonight.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. And he'll come in. Okay, so then let me ask this. Was there a moment we talked about, like a marriage, and you said like when things were the chaos when we started going. So was there a moment when like both of you knew or you knew or did he know like we don't know if this is gonna work or did it just
So I can only speak for myself on
Mhm,
this one.
mhm.
I believe that women go through a breakup sooner than men do. Like
Mhm.
the way that we grieve and process.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as women, we feel it like
Mhm.
first thing, but then it could be 6 months, a year and a half later, and then it's like hitting the men.
Okay.
I don't know why, but like for me, I knew, and it's crazy to think it's been almost like 4 years since being separated. And it was like November. Oh, fun fact. I'm really weird with dates. Like I know dates. It's like so weird. It's like all my friends like laugh at me because I'm like, it was like November 22nd.
This time.
But it was like November of 2021 when things started just not going good. And then the separation happened in January of 2022.
How long were you married?
We were married almost 7 years, together 10. And so, yeah, like it was still, so like when the separation happened, I still wasn't thinking divorce. And so I would say like I went through different seasons of like grief and accepting it. And, even like I said, when we were separated, like that was one part of it. And then it was like almost a year later that I knew 100%. I was like, yeah, this is actually happening. And so then that was like another part that I had to like grieve and heal again. And then when the day we finalized was another part of it. But it was more towards like the end of it, I would say, because like in my mind, like that's what solidified it, like that day. And like I said, all said and done from the day separation until the day divorce was 16 months.
So y'all, it's pieces.
It
It's not
is.
just all one, for the women or men who are out there who are going through or who have gotten divorced. It's not just one thing and you're over,
It's
it
not a
was a
one and done.
process.
Yep.
Right. You were like, okay, we're separated and
It's like,
navigating those emotions and
yes.
those feelings
Yep.
and that. Okay. And I'm sure you guys were in a lot of the same circles though.
Well, thankful. I don't want to say thankfully, but yeah, I didn't have to, unfortunately, no, we really
Okay.
didn't have to see
Okay. You said-
much.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I mean, there's no rule book to any of this, and everybody is going to grieve differently. But like I said, if I could just, again, surrounding yourself with godly individuals, going to church, seeking therapy. Like I said, I think a lot of people look at therapy as like a negative thing, and it's not. It's helped me so much, and I still go occasionally. I'll go maybe once a month. It kind of just depends on what I'm needing and feeling, and then like afterwards, I'm like, oh, I love it. Like it's a weight has been lifted.
It is. Therapy helps you navigate the emotions you don't want to address, honestly. It helps you get a perspective from someone who doesn't have anything to gain or lose either way.
Yep.
They're not a friend. A friend gonna be like, yeah, girl, what we doing? Where we going?
Hey.
A family gonna be like, oh, what? We pulling our hair back. We on
Yeah.
the way, because
Yeah.
they're your family and they love you.
Yeah.
And so family don't like them. Once you say this happening, they don't like them forever. So they like, no. And then your friends are like, girl, no.
Yeah.
When you got those friends, it's like, we will get it.
Yeah.
But like she said, having those godly friends that are in your world that are saying like, girl, I know.
Yeah.
And we can't do that. But also understanding that it's a process. You're going to go through that. And, the separation was part of it. And then it was, okay, now I'm living, on my own. How do I navigate life now? And then, okay, we were separated for a while. And now, oh my goodness, we're actually signing the papers and it's happening. Because like she said, she didn't think when they were separated, it was going to be divorce. It was just like,
Yeah, for sure. Was definitely like, I guess, the thought process. Like
Mhm.
as I like think back, and then not really 100% thinking like this is where it's leading to.
Mhm.
And but again, like no regrets. Like I knew I was supposed to marry him, and
Mhm.
we did have a beautiful story.
Mhm.
And he was a part of my life for, like 10 years, 10
Yeah.
plus years. And so I don't take that for granted at all. We learned a lot about each other, learned a lot about myself,
Mhm.
obviously, through all that. But, also asking different questions now,
Mhm.
that I didn't necessarily think about when I was in my 20s. The tough questions,
Mhm.
religion, finances, kids, like how you two may navigate certain things. Like you just don't think of those things, or at least for me, I didn't think of those things when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
And so like now in 30s, I go straight to the hard questions. I go straight to the hard questions. Like I'm not here to waste anybody's time.
Listen,
I'm like, so do you want kids? And if the answer is no, okay, I'm not wasting your time. I'm sorry. I want kids.
do you hear my girl? She said she not playing out here in these dating
No.
streets, okay? We'll answer the hard question.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe that it's important to be able to do that. Yeah. So when you realize, like you said, okay, this is really happening, we were in divorce, what did you feel gave you the courage and the strength to say, okay, I got to keep going like I can't? Because I know in all the emotions, I know I can imagine, like, you want to stay in the bed, you don't want to get up, like you said, or you want to run from the emotions. What
Yeah.
do you think was the thing that says, no, Alex, you can't run from it. You got to deal with it. Was it like your family, your community? Like, where did
I'm I'm also someone who's very driven. Yeah, there are days where I was like, I don't want to do anything,
Mhm.
but it was like, no. Like it's a pet talk that I'm
Yeah.
having with myself.
Yeah.
No, get up, let's go. And so I love the gym. I love working out.
Mhm.
Just helps me obviously physically, but mentally. And there were times where when we were separated, we couldn't sleep.
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, well, guess I need to get up and go to the gym. So I was going to the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Mhm.
And so I'm also someone who has like a routine. I stick
Mhm.
with my routines.
Mhm.
And then with work kept me very busy in the best way because before being a marketing director,
Mhm.
I did social media management for
Mhm.
local companies,
Mhm.
along with like the influencing and stuff that I do. And then I do wedding makeup. So I wore a lot of different hats.
Lot of hats.
Lots of hats. They're like stacked. And so I think that was one thing too, is things were just keeping me busy, which was again good. But I think when things started slowing down for me as well, and I know I'm kind of like jumping all over the place, but
Okay.
is when I finally got into my house
Mm.
where I could just like sit back and breathe.
Mm.
I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's, the Lord just giving me that peace that I needed,
Mhm.
but it was just where I didn't feel like I needed to be running on this hamster wheel. And
Get off the hamster wheel, y'all. Did you hear that? Find your place of peace. I don't care if it's in your car, at the beach, your friend house, or my grandmother's house. For me, and my kids will say the same thing. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, since she's moved out, she's like, Mama, I get it now. When she comes home, she gets on that couch and she's like, there is no sleep like sleep on your mama couch. Okay. My grandma's couch is as soon as I go in there, it's like it hits me in the face. I need a nap and I don't need, and I'm not even talking, but that's a place of peace.
you're
For
at
me.
peace.
That's where I grew up. That's where I don't have to, they literally are talking about who's going to drive me home as I'm like, my eyes are closed, but I'm not asleep anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, she's so tired. Who gonna drive her? You will take her. And I'm like, my grandparents are in their 80s. I'm like, y'all, I'm good. I'm gonna drive myself. But it's that place that you find that's a place of peace.
Yeah.
And it's important. It matters. You need to find it because that's where you can reframe your perspective.
Absolutely.
To not, like you said, to come to a place where you're not angry
No.
or upset.
No.
You see the beauty in what was and also the beauty in what.
Oh, I love that.
Okay,
What was and what is. Yeah.
there you go. I love it.
You're constantly growing too.
Yeah.
And just don't be so hard on yourself too, because we are our worst critic. We can give this is something else I noticed in myself is we can give so many other people all of this grace, but you're not willing to give yourself the same grace. And that was me. It was like giving friends, family, other relationships, just like so much grace. But then it was like, I just constantly beat myself down. And I'm like, no, the same grace that you're giving everybody else and the kindness and love that you're giving everybody else, you should be giving that to yourself too.
And just because it doesn't work, y'all, does not mean that you fail. That's the story that we tell ourselves.
You're a failure.
I wasn't good at like all the things that go through your mind. It didn't work, and that's okay too, you know? Whether it was, I know we talked about like us together, but she was in her job, and that's another part.
Yeah.
Like she navigated at the same time as it, she's switching careers.
So I was in the hospitality industry 10 plus years and held different positions within, the company that I was working with. But in my heart, I was like, I knew I was capable of so much more. So I went to school for business and dance. I'm a dancer. I love it. I miss dancing. I miss dancing so much. I wanted to actually own my own dance studio at one point. I did want to be a rockette. And then when I found out you had to be 5'6", I was like, well, that's trash because I'm 5'3". So guess that's out. So, anyways, worked in, the hospitality industry, and I did love it at the beginning. But again, as I grew and I evolved, I was like, I'm capable of a lot more, even though I didn't know what it was. There was just something inside that I was like, I was like, you got to figure it out. So back in 2016, I worked with this direct marketing company called Unique, and I loved it. And that's how, like, I always loved makeup, but that's where I really dabbled into makeup a lot more. And, going on vacations and, conventions and stuff like that. I was like, oh my God, like, I would love to make this like my full-time thing because I saw so many other women do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do that. Yeah, no, that didn't happen, And so it was like I was pushing for something that I wasn't meant for me, I guess. It wasn't in God's plan. And again, because I was wanting to get out of the corporate world for so long, I was like grasping onto anything that I possibly could. And then when I knew Unique wasn't going to work, I was like, all right, well, what else can I do? Real estate. Let's do real estate. And so it's so funny because like now I can laugh about this, but when I was going through it, it was not fun at all. Yeah, real estate wasn't for me either. Okay, I couldn't even pass the dang test. Okay, so first of all, and I went through it twice. Okay. So this happened back in 2014. Took the class, did not pass the state portion.
Okay.
And then could not pass the, what was the other one?
The
national to save my life. I'm pretty sure I took that test 5 or 6 times. And I'm like, this brings me back to my high school days when I took the ACT 5 times, SAT 6 times. Then anyways, clearly I'm not a good test taker. And so then I gave it a break in 2014, and then I tried it again in maybe 2019, I think it was. And again, went through the class again. Could not pass the test to save my life. And it's so funny because I was like, I can sell a house.
Yes, you could.
I can sell a house. Like, what in the world? Like, why do we have to be looked at when it came to tests? Because that was my biggest thing. I was good in school, made great grades, but then you got a standardized test. So then, again, that didn't work. And I had a friend at the time who she was starting her own company. It was at the time a lash company. And if I'm being honest, I was like, I know she was looking for somebody. And I was like, I don't know if she can afford me in the sense of what I was making at my corporate job. For me to like back away and step away. Well, one thing I'm going to say, if there's something on your heart, like I call them heart tugs, do it. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody say no? Okay, that's it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to reach out to her anyways. So I reached out there on Instagram. I said, I know you're looking for somebody. I don't know if it's going to be a good fit or work out. She was able to pay me the same that I was making at my corporate job. And so I was like, okay, here we go. And it was so fun because it was like a female-owned company. We were doing lashes, and then we ended up expanding to eyeshadows and lip gloss and lip liners and all the things. And I met some beautiful people out of it. And it taught me a lot, again, about business. It taught me that I how to manage people. And again, it taught me I was capable of doing a lot more than what I gave myself credit for. So again, that was a beautiful chapter. It was a very rough chapter too, because it only lasted a couple years, and I knew I needed to leave that. I needed to leave the business. It was tough because it wasn't necessarily my business, but I felt like it was.
It was. It's like you put your heart in there.
Yeah, you
like,
put it all.
Like mine. Right?
It was one of those where I believe that, we could have been in Ulta and Sephora, and we were a powerhouse.
They were. That flash was everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
It was beautiful when it was. But again, things end for a reason. And so then I knew I'm not someone that is going to leave a job and not have something else set up.
Yeah.
And that was terrifying for me because here I am. So I was going through a separation. So that separation started in January. And then it was, I think, April or May when I left my job. And there was a lot of things in between that was just very heavy. And I was like, what am I doing? What is happening right now?
Yeah, heavy in personal life, heavy in business.
Yes,
life.
it was like no matter where I went, it was like I couldn't find that like peace. I was like, oh my God, everything is so heavy right now. I felt like there was just this big rock on my chest. But for my mental health, I was like, even though I don't have a backup right now, I was like, I have to leave this environment. And that's not always an easy thing to do because I understand like people can't just like up and leave their job. Like I understand like if you have bills and kids, like I know there's a lot that goes into it. But sometimes too, you have to put your mental health first. Like,
100%.
is it really worth it all said and done?
Yeah.
So I did. I ended up leaving. It took me several months to kind of get back on my feet, but that's how I started doing more social media and the more like influencing. And it was reaching out to companies and saying and sending them like, resumes and my media kits and stuff like that to see. And I got a lot of no's. And that's the thing is just like putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll get that yes. Well, I started, getting some contracts with businesses, and then I had local businesses reaching out saying they needed help with social media. And I was like, okay. Because a lot of it too, like, again, my major in school was dance. I had a business minor. No marketing background by any means. And so a lot of everything that I've learned on social media is just self-taught. And, people were taking chances on me and, allowing me to help them create content and edit content and post and do all that. And so I started picking up several contracts there. And then after doing that for about a year and a half or so, one of the companies, they wanted to bring me on full time. And that's how I became the marketing director.
Period.
Yeah. So you just like, you never know who you're going to run into in life, what opportunities. And that's the thing is like, if a door opens, walk through it. You never know. And I do it scared. Just do it scared because again, you never know.
Right.
And I love what I do. And I mean, don't get me wrong too. We all have
the good and the bad.
The good and the bad. With anything that you go through. Right. So I mean, it's been a beautiful journey so far. And again, like taking that opportunity has led me to building a house and
say it all the time, y'all. You never know where your next shift is going to come from, but what you can rest assured in is that your gift will make room for you.
Absolutely.
And it may not always look in the way. You used to tell me all the time, "Oh, you're going to be a teacher." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not." And I'm thinking traditional, like classroom. Y'all, I am a teacher. I come on here every day. I'm on social media teaching people how to move from stuck to activated, how to walk in the purpose that is inside of them. That's teaching.
Yeah.
I just thought of it like this way. And so all the things that she went through in life allowed her to find the space and place that was like, hey, maybe that wasn't my major, but hey, or a minor, but guess what? I got a little knowledge under my belt, and this is something that I can use to bring an income or for there to be fruit. So you don't know where the fruit is going to come from. Just trust that it'll come.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, sometimes I tell people, you have to take the step scared.
Yeah.
Do you know where your next job is? No, but trust that there will be provision. The same way he gave a manna, he's going to provide for us as his children. And it might not always look like what we want to eat. Okay. But as long as we're eating, that's what matters.
And I think too, like letting go of the control
Yes.
and just also like giving it to him because
Mhm.
I do believe that he will provide. And I know that's scary.
Mhm.
I get it because I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
Listen,
I don't know about all this right now.
listen, I'm trying to tell you, it gets to where even like with me, I'll be transparent. Y'all know I do aware, like I'm in real estate. I've sold one house this year, one. And I'm sitting here in my brain like, okay, girl, like what? And I'm trusting him that he's bringing me things in other ways, and it's not what I thought it would be or the picture that I had,
Yeah.
but I trust that it's a beautiful story that he's writing that I don't know yet, And so sometimes you're gonna have to adapt and shift, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And I also hear this: there are gonna be seasons when you know and when you don't know, and it's okay to start something and be like, nope, that's not it. To start something else. I was one like, "Oh my gosh, you're starting all over again." And it wasn't because I was starting over again because I got bored, not because I needed time to figure out if that's what I was supposed to do. And I became an unfinisher in my own right. And so I had to say, okay, God, I got to give you control of this stuff so I can finish because I'm walking away before you even tell me to.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, a shift that you sometimes have to make. I know you talked about your community and prayer and family tools that help you and therapy. Cannot
Yeah.
forget that. And were there other things that you did going to the gym? I heard you say that.
Yes. Yeah. Biggest thing, going to the gym, surrounding myself, like I said, with good fellowship,
Mm-hmm.
community, church,
Mm-hmm.
therapy. I'm like, let me get audibles and podcasts. I just would constantly, and worship music. You have to fuel your soul with good things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. I love listening to, some good
I
but,
got you.
but sometimes when it's so funny too, like back in the early 2000s when we'd listen to this like hip hop and how much we loved it and it's just singing the lyrics. And then
Yeah.
when you get older, you're like,
Wait, were we talking?
what was I saying? You know what I mean? And so I think that was one thing too. It was just like the music you're listening to. How is that helping your mental health?
That part. Yo, I write in silence so much. Just the quiet so I can hear my thoughts, hear myself. Instead of all the I write in my car in silence.
And one thing I'm going to say too is get off of social media. I have a love-hate with social media because obviously, like, what I do with my page, like, I want it to be more of a place where people can come and chat and inspirational and fashion and whatever, like fun deals on Amazon.
Mm.
But at the same time, if social media is driving you to compare, fueling your heart with hate, if you're following people that are, again, not good for your soul, just take a step back. I'm okay. Like, unfollow somebody. There have been times, like, I don't get offended. You know what I mean?
don't
Like,
either.
if you got to do what's best for your mental state, then unfollow so-and-so or take a break from social media. Like, I ended up taking a break last week for a week because sometimes you get into this headspace. You're like, okay, well, I got to do this and I got to do this and I got to do this. And last week we were in DC for my brother's, he's retiring from the Navy. But anyways, I was like, no, I'm putting my phone down. I'm going to be present with because I think too, we're all just always on our phones. But really put the phone down, walk outside. Look how beautiful, like,
y'all, we get so consumed when I think the goal or the destination that we forget the journey and the ride. I ride the bike in my neighborhood. I have not in a while since I've had my surgery, but I would ride the bike in the neighborhood. I would focus so much on what my watch was saying about how far I went. I didn't even realize people were waving at me as I'm riding the bike. My husband was like, "Yeah." He helped somebody do something. He was like, "Yeah, I waved at your wife and she didn't wave back." I was like, "What? When?" He was like, "I don't know. They said you were on the bike." And that was when it dinged for me. I'm looking at my watch. I'm looking at the step as it goes up, how far I've gone, how much time it's taken. I didn't even think for 1 second to pause
Yeah.
and look up at my neighbor saying hello.
Yeah.
Don't get so consumed and inundated. I'm out here saying in these TT streets, as I like to say, I do TikTok. Y'all, I'm not gonna be here next week. And I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm like, I'm not. Whatever fragments I lose or whatever it might be, it's gonna be what it is. I'm gonna be present in Jamaica with my husband and my friends and have some fun. Like, yes, it can be a job and yes, it can give you income and the things. But you also have to be mindful. One other thing I had to check was don't let it be your everything. Am I doing this before I say, God, thank you for today? Am I picking up my phone to scroll? And I found myself doing that. And it's like, let me reframe that because anything that takes the place of the thing you need the most, and for me, it's God, don't know your belief, is not, I'm putting it behind him. And I never want to do that.
Guilty of it. I mean, I've done the same thing. You get so wrapped up in your day-to-day life, and this is where I also too the growth. I don't want to say where I went wrong because I don't have any regrets in life
Yeah,
because
what you learned.
it's
Yeah.
taught me and has brought me to where I am today. But when I was going through the tough times, one of the biggest things I was so focused on was my career. Career, 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 career. But if I'm being completely transparent, that can be gone in an instant. But it's the people, it's the memories that you make, family, friends, whoever, like those good people that come into your life, hold on to them because they'll always be there for you, but your career might not be. And I think too, as women, we get really focused. And especially like with the world that we live in, we get so focused on building this career, but really building your relationships, your kids, like that should be your priority. And that doesn't mean too that you can't have a career later on too.
And it doesn't mean you can't have them together yet.
Yeah.
So don't hear her say, oh, don't have a career. He's saying
Yeah.
it's to realize that it has to be, and I don't ever say balance. And I know people say balance. I think that's false. It's not realistic. There has to be an ebb and flow. There is, I don't feel I don't know what balance looks like because I don't feel like I ever have it, but I do have peace, right? And then there's an ebb and flow. Like I can give a little more right here, but then I might have to switch back. Like my girls are teenagers. I stepped down from my position in management for that reason. Why?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be present. So there's an ebb and flow. Now they're about to be graduating. So I could swing back into my,
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I did it in conjunction when they were home and they were little because they were both here and it was more cost effective for us. So that's what I talk about when I mean like ebb and flow. I don't know for me, if you found the balance, please tell your girl and help your girl out. Because I've not found balance.
Yeah.
I found ebb and flow and I found peace.
Yeah.
And that's so important. Okay, so after the divorce and the career setbacks, what does success look like for you now in this 34 beautiful young woman that you are becoming and still becoming?
Thank you. Success. What does that look like now? I feel like I've repeated myself, but I'm going to just say it again. It's not my career. Success for me is my health, my well-being, my family, my friends. That's what I feel like what my true success is. Last night we went out to dinner for my birthday and it gave me that sense of peace just looking around the table and just knowing it was my mom and dad and a couple of close friends and my aunts and my cousins. And that's what it was beautiful. I don't know if that makes sense to some, but it's not because I think people think, you have to make all of this money. You have to be a top dog in your industry or have a certain title. And I say that because that used to be me. I used to want to make the money and have a title and, have everyone, I don't want to say like look at me, but like could see all the success, and like for me, it's just having a roof over my head, having food on the table, again, surrounding myself with my family and my friends. Like that's what success looks like to me now. And I wasn't it wasn't always that way at all.
Y'all, the peace. And again, success looks different for every person. And so if it's someone like go after, I know when I got into real estate, they told me I would never have time for anything but that. Like I even got on this live with a girl who was like mentoring people, and she said, I'm not a good wife. I'm not a good mom. But I'm a good realtor. I admit it was like click. I got off. It was like a Zoom or what. I was like, I just sat there for a second. And then, like you were saying, what resonated with me? That didn't resonate. I didn't want it to. I don't want to look up at my kids and be like, well, I wasn't a good mom, but I gave you,
Yeah.
like, I, to each his own. But for me, that just not wasn't a place of peace. And when she said it, I was like, I remember going, oh, yeah, this is not the place for me. And this is absolutely not the new toy for me. And so I feel like didn't make a big deal, like, oh, just knew it wasn't the space for me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important, like you said, in those moments as you get older, you just realize what I thought was important.
Yeah.
And maybe it was in those moments right now isn't as important.
You evolve. And one quote that I love is like, what you're not changing, you're choosing. And I think sometimes we can get so caught up in like just that rat race that we could be unhappy with whatever it is in life. But sometimes, like, are you taking a step back and reevaluating yourself? We can always point the finger at everybody else, but again, you can't control like what other people are doing. You can only control how you react. So if you're unhappy with a career choice, whatever that is, that's what I say, like what you're not changing, you're choosing. And I'm not saying like, okay, I'm unhappy with my career, but I can't let it's like, what avenues are you taking to maybe better that? And again, I know you can't like up and leave sometimes.
Right,
Like it's not
right.
that easy. I get that. But if certain things do make you unhappy, what other areas can maybe balance that out?
Mhm.
So,
I think I like to call it the ownership. You got to own the parts that are yours. And we don't want to do that because it's not fun and it don't feel good.
no, it's uncomfortable.
Right. But the parts that belong to you, we're going to take it.
Yeah.
But the parts that not, we're going to leave them where they are. It's just like the buffet. I can't eat everything, but I can eat some things.
Yeah.
But what I eat, I'm responsible for. I'm going to have to do a little extra walk, a little extra gym time, whatever that looks like, because I chose to eat it.
Yes.
And so I think I tell my account of ownership is everything. Own the parts that are yours
Yeah.
and let go of the ones that aren't.
Amen.
Okay. Oh my gosh. How has all of this from like getting past the hurt and things like that and dealing with it? And I know you said that now you're at a place where you're not angry
Mhm.
anymore. How has your journey brought you to that place of purpose and at peace?
One day at a time and working on bettering myself every day. Um, choosing kindness even when I don't feel like it. And I think time doesn't necessarily heal all wounds, but it does help. Like when you're out of a toxic environment for a long period of time, you start to reevaluate differently. And I think too, as I continue to grow, like from my 20s, no, you're good, from my 20s to my 30s, it just opened up my eyes, I guess, differently too. Sorry.
No, you're good. So let's go back to the
Right.
choose
Yeah.
kindness.
Okay.
Because if somebody's listening and they're saying, heard you say, I choose kindness, what did that really, how do you do that? If they said, like, how they do that?
See. So choosing kindness for me is
Even if you think of an instance, like there was this one time I could have, and I chose to.
I've got plenty of sorry. What do you think is the best way to maneuver into that so it's easy for you to edit?
So, we'll just repeat.
Okay.
So when you said that choosing kindness was it, and if somebody's listening and they're like, well, how did you do that? What would you say? Like, this is how I chose kindness.
Yeah, so that's not always easy. It's definitely not easy because our flesh, may choose others, but like a different path. But my soul is, I think I allow also God to kind of help with that. I always want to be better. I don't ever want to stoop down to somebody else's level. Hurt people hurt people. But if we can level up and elevate ourselves, I think that's how we become better people. I mean, there have been plenty of times where, I've had to walk away from friendships or things not, or relationships and it not making sense. Like, why? Or they really hurt me and I could have done this. But really, at the end of the day, what is that going to do for you?
Mm.
That's the way that I try to process things. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's go. I don't have time for this. But then it's like, okay, you get satisfaction for what? A couple of days? And then what? Like I'm such a heart person. I always want to do right by somebody, even if they didn't do right by me. And I wish I could, there's no secret sauce to it. It's just honestly having to take a step back and think like, okay, if the roles were reversed, how would you handle it? Or how would you want someone to handle it? Because this is something too. You don't know what somebody's going through on a day-to-day basis. And what they did may have really hurt you. But I always like give the benefit of the doubt in the sense of like, they may not realize how they affected you. And so sometimes I like to give grace for that or just prayer. The last several years, really last couple months, last couple years, I'm like, maybe not, I'm wanting answers that I'm still finding peace. There's certain areas I've found a lot of peace and there's still areas that I'm, still trying to find that peace that I may not ever 100% know. I may never understand why someone chose to do the things the way that they did, but I just have to know that this is in God's hands and that He is guiding me through this. And that's why everyone comes into your life for a season, a reason, or you have your lifers because they're here to teach us. Sometimes it's a beautiful teaching and sometimes it's a not so good teaching. And so like those are the conversations that I have with myself. And yeah, it's a lot easier to be angry at somebody or want to say really hurtful things. But in my eyes, that's like the easy way out. The hard way is really taking a step back and evaluating yourself and how you can be better over. I know that was very long and winded.
Listen, catch the nuggets, y'all. Understanding that you can choose the hard way, even though it's not the easy way, to say, I choose. What would it be if I was on the other side of this? That's my reframe. Yes, you could, Tocha, and Alex absolutely could have. But at the end of the day, I like to say to myself, are you representing yourself well?
Yeah.
Tocha, you could do that. Would that represent you well? No, but it make me feel good right in this moment. I'm going to tell you how I talk to myself.
Yeah.
You know it would not. However, for a little second, I would, but then at the same time, and then I say, okay, Tocha, if you were on the receiving end of what you're about to say. Y'all, I say it all the time, because I choose kindness doesn't make me a weak person. It makes me a wise person because I'm choosing not to allow you to dictate how I navigate my ship. It's the analogy I use for my daughter. We are all the captain of our own ship, y'all. You get to choose how you navigate it. But when you give somebody else control, there's no telling what storm you're going to end up in.
No, but don't allow somebody else to dictate your future. And that's the biggest thing too is, I could have stayed so-called stuck or, I know other people too may have gone through divorce or loss of friendship or whatever that is, but look at it as a learning stepping stone and not allowing your ego to get the best of you and realize that this absolutely sucks that this happened to me, but how can I take what happened to me and make it for the good? And again, not allowing someone to derail you and have someone like derail you, but then also allow yourself to move forward in a beautiful way. And don't forgiveness. That's the word, forgiveness. Because if you don't, people, and back to weakness, people think forgiveness is a weakness, and it's not. I always call it's the superpower.
It is.
And you're not forgiving, you're forgiving for yourself to release the, I don't know if bondage is the right word.
The shackles, everyone.
To release that because it's going to be such a weight lifted off of your shoulders.
That's the thing.
Forgiveness.
Y'all, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for yourself.
Yes.
Here is the thing. You can stay stuck, like she was saying, in the eye with you. And we all have moments like that. There where somebody could point a finger at me and say, well, you said this and you did. Forgiveness doesn't give them a pass on what they did. It gives you freedom to move forward.
Exactly.
So understand that I'm not weak because I forgave someone. I'm wise because I chose to, not to allow them keep me in bondage.
Yep.
That's the wisdom
Yep.
part of it.
Yep.
So I hope y'all heard what my girl just said. Forgiveness was for her.
It was. I call it my superpower, and it's not an easy thing.
It is.
You have to wake up every morning saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It just doesn't happen. It's a choice that I make every single day.
And a choice you have to continue to make every day, y'all.
Absolutely.
Did you hear that? I had told my friend yesterday, I'm at a situation, I'm very upset with this woman. And I said, I have to pray and get myself to a place of peace.
Yeah.
I forgave her, but I'm still inserting my eye roll every time I see or hear the name.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I'm like, so I have to continually pray, like, God, I want to be at a place of peace in it. Because I forget, I'm not upset about it, because upset, the old me, oh, honey, we would have been getting at it. Her anymore. And so I choose. And I said, but I also want to choose to be able to walk in the room and not roll my eyes. And my daughters are like, Mama, I don't see how you do that. I could never. That's being fake. No, that's being authentic to myself. That's me learning to grow and me learning to choose. Tasha gets to decide how Tasha navigates this ship. And once I give someone else control, there's no telling what storm I will end up in.
Yep.
I choose to navigate it. And I'm so proud of you
Thank
for navigating something so hard, but choosing to say, I want to navigate this as the best Alex I can.
Yeah, because I think God, too, he puts us in these not so fun situations, but to make something truly beautiful out of it. Like, it wasn't an easy journey to navigate, but he brought me through it in the best way possible. And I believe that he blesses us in so many ways, even if it's in the darkest of times. Again, you may not see it right in that very moment, but as time goes on,
there you go.
He'll reveal that. Speaking right now, I don't know. I'm like, what's happening?
He's talking to you. So if you could go back to one of the darkest times, the darkest days, whatever that might be, so to a woman or man that might be going through that, if you could go back and say one thing to yourself and you think back to the hard moments, what would it be?
Don't give up. You'll get through this. One step at a time, 1 minute at a time, if that's what it has to be. Continue to choose the light, even in the darkest of times. And that's hard. It's really hard to do. But again, it goes back to when I look back, like I said to you, there were times where I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything. But also for my mental health, I had to keep going forward. And like I said, when you surround yourself too with people that bring you joy and bring you that light, that also helps. Don't stay alone. It's okay to be alone at times,
but
don't stay alone. And I always say too, like, it's okay to be in your feels. Feel all the feels, but don't stay there too long. And I think too, that's with the processing, and that it takes time, but don't give yourself grace. Give yourself the same love that you so freely give others, and keep your head held high. I know that might sound cliche, but that's all you can do. Don't think about a week from now, a month from now, 2 years from now. Literally think about what's right in front of you.
Right in front of you.
Yeah.
Right here, right now. Oh, Alex, thank you so much.
Thank you. This is great.
Oh, keep moving is what she said. Like, you got to keep going, even though it's hard. Oh, I'm so glad. All right.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to do the rapid fire. Y'all know this is my favorite part, right?
No. God.
My favorite?
Oh, no.
Yes, we are. Listen, it's happening. This is like, oh my God, what are we doing? All right, let me go to it. Oh, no, wait. I just got out of it. Dang. Let's out of it.
Here I am, like, getting nervous again.
Girl, it's always fun. We're having fun. Oh, no. I think this is over. Nope, that's not it.
Is it?
I'm going to click the button. Oh, no, we're doing this rapid fire, girl.
That's fine.
She's like, it's okay, we're done. I'm like, this is my favorite part. I think. And I didn't put it indoors because I was like, okay, she hates to do it.
Okay, because I was about to say.
Yeah, no, I did not. No, ma'am. This is the part where we just, and whatever comes to your mind first, that's just what you say. Like, when you're like, I love, like, and I literally just have.
Like, don't overthink.
Yeah, no, it's just the first thing that comes to your mind. Like, whatever.
Okay.
That might be. Okay, you know what? Let me just search for you. It'll be easier. Like this. Okay, there we go. All right.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Say,
Early bird or night
oh,
owl?
early bird.
Early bird. Okay. How early do you get up?
4:30.
Y'all heard.
4:30.
4:30.
I'm such an old lady.
Listen.
Put 8, 9.
Okay, so early bird.
Yep.
Best comfort food after a hard day. I love hibachi. It's one of my favorites too. Okay, current playlist. What's your favorite song on your right now on your playlist?
First song, I don't know why this has been on repeat, but it's called Obsession by Mitchell Tenpenny.
Okay, I gotta look it up. I never heard it.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Country.
Obsession.
Yeah.
Listen,
Country girl.
I listen to all the things. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, Obsession. Y'all heard it? All right. Your dream travel destination.
I've got like 2 that came to mind. Greece and then, like the Maldives or like Fiji, something like that. But the only problem is like someone's going to have to sedate me because I don't like flying.
Really?
Oh, no.
What? Oh my gosh. Girl, I want to do the fly dress picture. The picture.
I know. So
Oh,
I said Fiji or like the Maldives.
Oh.
Yes, that's the one you would have to sedate me because.
Yeah. How long was the flight? Is that long?
It's like way too long.
Oh, okay.
Like way too long.
It's just like, we're gonna have to Mr. T her.
Yes.
So she can go to sleep.
Yes.
Okay, got it. One word that sums up your journey for you right now.
One word. One word sums up my journey. I don't know why I want to say strength.
Okay, period.
Yeah, strength.
Strength.
Yeah.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
She is strong and mighty. Y'all listen. See, that's it. You made it, girl. She was like, wait, what are we going to do? Thank you so much, Alex, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
I'm glad. Thank you for being vulnerable, y'all. I hope you wrote down. I hope you heard our heart. Like, there is a rebuild that can happen after in her life. It was a divorce. So for all our squad ladies and men, I know but to the squad girlies, y'all, you can rebuild. There can be a reframe. You can choose kindness. Okay. It's a choice that you have to make every single day. And you can live a life where you're not walking around angry. And I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all,
Guys.
listen, Alex, beautiful soul, make sure that you follow her on social. All her socials will be in the show notes so that you can connect with her. I'm sure if you had questions, Alex would be absolutely willing to answer them for you.
Just DM me.
Yeah, send her the good old DM. Okay. Y'all, thank you so much. Alex, thank you for being here. It's such a bright light. I enjoyed our conversation, not just today, but every time I get to be in the room with you. You're such a bright light, and I really do appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Y'all. This is a lady who wants people to win. Hope you are. If there is someone else that you know of that has a beautiful story to share and to tell, DM the squad so that we can get her on. You do not have to be here locally. We have South Forward. You can be in your room. I can be in mine, and we could still record. Okay. Y'all have an amazing day.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining. We love you so much. Yes. Thank you for listening. And y'all don't forget, we're on our bi-weekly schedule now. So there will not be an episode next week, but the next week, it'll be your girl, Coach Tasha. I'll be dropping some nuggets on trauma and how do we move past those and how do we set boundaries when we need to, y'all. All right, y'all have an amazing day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.